Hey, all right. Well, I'm gonna share my thoughts on Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. This is just gonna be a few quick thoughts. I don't want this to be long. Um, Basically, yeah, it's okay. Like it has its moments, but it's not nearly. I don't think it's as nearly as good as the original um, Jay and Silent Bob movies. Yeah, I haven't seen Yoga Hosers. I hear Yoga Hosers is that's his previous film, the one he did right before this one, and didn't get very good reviews. A lot of times when his movies don't get very good reviews, Kevin Smith, the director of this film, a lot of times when writer and director of this film, he a lot of times when he doesn't get good reviews, I still end up liking his movies, and I guess I like this one, but this movie feels like a string of conversations that are I don't know. It's like it's. I don't know what's going on with this film. Like why it's not so as why I don't feel it's as good as his other ones. But it seems like it seems like the plot doesn't move forward as smoothly as like if I'm comparing it to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, um, I was expecting something on that level. Um, of that sort of thing. The plot doesn't move forward as smoothly. Um, there's a lot of exposition scenes in the beginning that are kind of boring. Like, it's just but it does has moments. It has moments that are genuinely funny, but it's bogged down by awkward writing or awkward acting or I don't know. It's just bogged down by moments that are feel yeah, I don't know. Something about the movie, like the movie could have been fixed with editing. I almost feel like more would have been better. Like as far as like cutting down what's there and adding in like deleted scenes, like cuz I saw some of the deleted scenes at the end and those were pretty good and perhaps the film would have like benefited from like another editing pass because I feel like certain scenes could have been shorter and like certain scenes could have been added to like keep the pace up because the movie is just like a string of jokes, which is great. That's when the movie's at its best, when it's just like a string of random jokes. That's like, but there's like way too much complication and attention spent on setting up the premise. Like I feel like it takes way too long for the movie to get going. There's particularly a whole lot of exposition that's like not as skillfully integrated into the plot of the film as his previous films have been. And he does spend a lot of time writing like a lot of exposition and just characters standing around and talking, but you know, I remember thinking during this film like Roger Ebert once complimented him on Clerks for writing like people talked. Like he made the characters talk like people really talk. And I know that's not quite what Jay and Silent Bob's about. Like even in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, like people aren't exactly talking how people talk. Like they aren't talking realistically. But that movie's pace moves better somehow. And there's less like standing around clearly just getting exposition out of the way is okay for like a little bit, but when it seems like it starts to bog down like a bit more in this film than I don't know. It bothered me. It bothered me. Basically, I don't know if I can really put my finger on what bothered me about this film, other than it just seemed to. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan, so that's why it's bothering me that this movie doesn't seem to be like something I'm actually going to like. I mean, it'll probably grow on me. Like, there are definitely good scenes in it. There's really good, genuinely funny moments. Um, but like, I don't know if I want to come back to it, which makes me sad. So I'm not sure. I'll probably watch it at least two more times, at some point. When it comes to streaming services or something. Um, and I would love to see Yoga Hosers, even though people say that movie's bad. Like, I think some of his best work happened within the last 10 years. Like, what was it? Red State was a very interesting film. That movie actually really rocks. Um, and then what's the other one? Tusk. That movie really rocks too. Um, yeah, so Zack and Miri is one of his best films. Um, that doesn't get enough love, I feel. That's another kind of recent one, I guess. Um, I do think that Jersey Girl is one of his weaker films. I like if I'm to rank his films, like, it's basically, Clerk. The first four films are all at the top. I don't know how to rank them among each other because they're all very different things. But the first four films, um, which are Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, those films are all fantastic. They're all different. They all feel completely different, yet they all are equally good. Um, and and then Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is which is also really fun. So that's yeah, that just goes up there too as like one of the really good ones. Jersey Girl was fine. I had some kind of embarrassing moments with Ben Affleck. I felt like where Ben Affleck like wasn't quite getting to the emotional place that he needed to. Um, like I felt it's funny because Ben Affleck is perfectly talented. Like he's fine. He's been in great stuff. He's done great work as an actor, but sometimes he's done not so great work. And Jersey Girl came out during a time when he didn't do some of the best acting he could have. I felt. Um, yeah. So then after that, what was after that? I think after that was when Zack and Miri happened, and that was fantastic. I kind of forget what movies came after Jersey Girl, like in what order. I feel like Zack and Miri might have been the one right after. No, Clerks 2, right? Yeah, Clerks 2 was okay. Clerks 2 was actually really good. That was a really good one. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not really ranking them right now, but I kind of lost track of my ranking. But yeah, Clerks 2 was great, and then Jersey Girl was not so great, and Zack and Miri was absolutely fantastic. Like, just because it didn't do well financially doesn't mean that movie wasn't amazing. The movie was fantastic. And then, yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing that, Kevin Smith kind of wanted to do John Hughes-like movies because he so was into John Hughes. And I feel like Zack and Miri kind of is like the his pinnacle in the sense of trying to hit that sort of feeling. Um, although it's definitely not his pinnacle in my opinion as far as like movies I'm in love with. Like I definitely like his View Askew universe stuff more than Zack and Miri. But just that's because, how do you not love, the whole Jay and Silent Bob universe? Um, yeah. So I just wish this one was more. This one has some really genuinely great things, genuinely great movie moments, and I remember like not just funny moments, like really good emotional moments. Actually, it takes too. There's too much dead space to, like it's this film is burdened by bad moments. It does have great moments though, so I guess it is worth watching, and it's genuinely heartfelt at the end. Like the end scene is the best scene in the movie. Like after the whole thing is done, I remember thinking they're in front of the. There's a scene that involves the original building at the end of the movie, the original Clark's building, at the end of the movie. And I remember thinking, watching that, like, oh, well, finally the movie gets good. That's the best scene in the movie. Like after all the bullshit that of finally the movie gets interesting. And it's like I want to see the movie that starts at that moment, at the last scene in this movie, because it's actually a very well written, very well acted scene. It's perfect. It's like, oh, that one finally. It's like finally that was Kevin Smith getting in his groove, and then what it was right at the end of the movie. Everything else was just weird, and some of it was funny, and some of it felt like. Yeah, some of it was genuinely funny. There were great moments, but I felt myself, I was watching this movie and I was pausing it. And taking breaks from it. I rented this movie. I spent money on this movie and I rented it, but I had to take breaks from it. Because it just was one of those movies where it's like you get embarrassed for how the feeling of awkward that's happening on screen. It's very strange. It's a very strange movie. But I like it, I guess. I mean, there's certain things it'll probably grow on me, I don't know. That's wishful thinking, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to harp on this thing. I love Kevin Smith. I absolutely love him. I think he is one of the best filmmakers alive today, and he's definitely one of the best writers alive today. He doesn't understand how good a writer he is. He should be he could write so well. He should be writing, bigger movies. I don't know. It's I feel like the two best writers in Hollywood right now are him and Quentin Tarantino. As far as just the ability to write a good scene. But and at least with dialogue. Maybe that's too much to say. No, it's not. I don't know. I really do think he's one of the best writers in Hollywood. And he's up there with Quentin Tarantino. And his dialogue can be absolutely fantastic. But it's just not happening here in every scene. In fact, most of the scenes, it's definitely not happening. And I'm like, what happened to your ability to write a good conversation, realistic conversation? I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch this. This is the first time I've been frustrated by a Kevin Smith movie. I usually love them. But I have not seen Yoga Hosers, so maybe that one would frustrate me too. I did start it, and then I stopped it because it was I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood to keep going on it for some reason, and I never came back on it. But so I started watching the first 10 minutes of it, and now I really want to see Yoga Hosers to see how it is compared to this one, But the ones before that were all fantastic, yet they got bad reviews or somewhat not perfect reviews, I guess. For instance, Tusk was before Yoga Hosers, and Tusk people kind of didn't. The critics didn't dig that one, but that one's fantastic. It's a really interesting movie. And then what's the other one before that? Red State, also fantastic, really interesting movie. So yeah, this was a weird experience because this was the first This was the first Kevin Smith movie I watched, and I didn't enjoy it. It makes me sad. Okay, bye.